Hello, beautiful people. 4 weeks in a row. I get my gold star, right? So I don't have, this is the first week that I'm coming that I don't actually have something specific. I mean, I'm planning to do a card pull. So we'll let God decide what we're going to talk about today, but I don't know what it is yet. I almost pulled it before I came on just so that I could include it in the comment up at the top, but then I was like, nah, it's more fun if we do it together. So I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day today. It's been really fun this week because, and again, I just keep talking about the decks because it's where my focus is right now. So there are so many wonderful, fun, Dyed4You products. So I am in no way, shape, or form saying that there aren't some wonderful ones. This is just where my brain has been. So anyway, it's been really fun because since some people have picked them up, I'm getting to hear some testimonies now. And so I was laughing because one of our Dyed4You diehards had gotten all 3 decks and was having, you know, friends who came over pull cards, and she said the problem that she ran into is the cards ministered so much she didn't want to take them back. Which is a beautiful problem to have. And so everything was really resonating with people. There was someone who had gotten, you know, a word about new life, and they ended up pulling the card that has my art piece, Hope in a Future, which has a pregnant belly on it, you know, and stuff like that. There was someone else who she had been going through a tough time, and God had promised her that he would never leave her or forsake her, and she pulled the card with the Never Alone art piece on it. So again, just really fun confirmations from Papa, you know, again, like God will talk to us through whatever we happen to be paying attention to. And so that is one of the things that I really love about the decks, is the fact that because, you know, and especially for me, because I have obviously all 3 of them. So that's, since there's 47 cards in each deck, that's like basically 141 different, you know, random things that God could alert me to. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of fun. So again, it's just sort of a fun mechanism. So it's been neat getting to hear the testimonies that have been rolling in from that. And of course, there's been some fun silk ones too. I did a beaded veil for the first time in a while, and it came out beautifully. They are harrowing to create because it's really complicated construction on it. So I always I teased her. I said, you always get a lot of extra prayer on this, because I'm always like, oh God, lead my hands. So anyway, hello Faye, hello Miss Ingrid, hello to anyone else who has popped in and I haven't seen their name pop up, and hello to those of you who are watching this later. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick a card, see what we're gonna talk about today. This one. All right, what do we got? Ooh, yes. This is a favorite one. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I can't believe that's the one I just pulled, because you guys know I say this all the time. So first of all, the art piece on there is the Into the Light art piece. And on the cards, sometimes I've done slight alterations to the art. So like, this is not actually exactly what the published version of the art piece looks like. And so, but I do note when I've changed it on the back, it'll say like Into the Light variation, because again, I've got the name of it. So for anyone who's interested, I'm trying to see if I can actually pull up what the art piece looks like so you can see the difference. I don't know whether my phone will make it visible enough for you to actually be able to tell. And I've got like 300 art pieces in here, so I'm doing a quick skim, but if I may not be able to find it on a quick skim. I wonder if I have the, anyway, I don't know that it matters. Anyhow, all that to say, sometimes there's a slight variation. I'm going to do a quick search. Into the Light. Here we go. See, that's what I should have done in the first place. So you can see it's just a slight variation, but they're similar. So anyway, so sometimes I do a little bit of a variation. Sometimes it's exactly the same as how I published it. Either way, same beautiful anointing on the art piece. So I digress. The card that we just pulled today is the focus card. And the focus card says, one of my favorite mechanisms, what you focus on, you make room for. Resist the urge to allow distractions or perceived mistakes or failures to draw your focus. For telling yourself not to focus on something is simply a form of negative attention, which is still attention, i.e. your focus. So choose to focus on that which you want to see increase and channel your energy into stirring up your belief that it is attainable. So the direction I'm actually going to go with this is there's a blog post that when I was doing lunchtime lives regularly that would come up a lot. I wrote a post, and it's been probably 5-7 years ago now, called don't even speak the name of other gods or something like that, because there's a scripture that actually says that. And this is something that as believers we struggle with a lot, because what ends up happening is we unintentionally put our focus on our praise on the enemy. And so what you'll often hear is you'll hear people who are saying things like, well, the devil did this and the devil did that, and the focus then becomes on the devil and what the devil is doing. But the fact is as believers, where should our focus be? And on whom should our focus be? It should be on God, right? And on what God is doing. And so to allow ourselves to be distracted is literally that. It's a distraction. And so this is just a beautiful reminder to what do you want to make big? What do you want to make large in your life? Do you want to make large the enemy and what the enemy is up to, or do you want to make large what God is up to? And so I'm not saying the challenges are never going to come. I'm just saying that when they come, you ask Papa God, right? Because you want to keep your focus there. God, why is this happening right now? Why are you allowing this to happen? What do I need to learn in this situation, in this challenge? What am I supposed to be learning in this challenge? Because then you've taken away the power of the enemy, because you're still giving your praise, giving the power to the sovereign God that is your heart and focus, rather than shifting your focus away from God onto the enemy. And so anyway, this also holds true for anything else. If you're focused on, if you're married, or if you're in a friendship with someone and they're doing something that makes you a little bit crazy, if you're focused constantly on that thing that makes you crazy, again, that is going to draw your attention, and you're making more space for that to become larger in your life. Whereas if you can shift your focus, and not shift your focus by saying, I'm not going to think about this, it's shifting your focus by focusing on something else. So what are the blessings about that individual? So that's why, if you have someone that you are struggling in relationship with, rather than replaying in your mind all the things about them that make you crazy, be intentional to pray for them. Father, bless them. May you be manifest in their lives, made large, whatever that looks like, whatever that prayer that you want to pray over them looks like. But that shifts your heart space into a different space, and the relationship will literally change as a result. I've actually seen that happen. I had a boss, this is back right after I got saved, and for whatever reason, this man could not stand me, and I didn't like him. We just were like oil and water. We did not mix. We didn't understand each other. We didn't like each other. But it made for a really uncomfortable work environment. And as a baby in my faith, during a service, I got challenged to do exactly this, to shift to a place of prayer instead of letting myself rehearse over and over the things that make me crazy about him. And so I started doing that. And literally it took less than 3 weeks, and the entire relationship had changed. We actually got along, had a very respectful relationship, and it literally shifted everything, which didn't make any sense because the only thing that had really changed was my heart, you know. But it changes things. And so, and again, so what you focus on, you make room for. This also holds true for yourself, for how you view yourself. If you are constantly rehearsing the things that you dislike about yourself, I wish I was this, I wish I was that, I wish I was this other thing, all you're seeing is all the areas of perceived lack. And I'm not saying you should be oblivious to areas that you want to improve in. I'm definitely not advocating for that. But I do think that long-term, what is more beneficial, Annette, yay, I'm so glad you made it. Hello. I was wondering if you would catch me today. But instead of focusing on your perceived, the areas of perceived shortcomings, right? Hi Nancy, if you instead are focused on the areas about yourself that you love and that you're proud of and that you can feel good about, like, it changes the way you see yourself, it changes the way you speak to yourself. That's something that I'll even touch on this briefly. I am very intentional with word choice, which anyone who has gotten one of the letters from the ministry already knows this, right? So I'm very intentional with word choice. So there are words that tend to have negative connotations. And I'm not saying that the connotations are there by definition. Sometimes it's just for us, okay? The way that we think of ourselves or the way that we internalize the meaning of a word may have negative attention. Hi, Lisa. And so one of the words that I had to change was in regards to my physical scale. And so I started referring to myself as a generously proportioned woman. And it literally over time began to shift the way, hi Dorinda, the way that I saw myself and the way that I felt about my weight. Now, I'm not advocating go be unhealthy, but use happy words and they don't have to feel bad about it. I'm not saying that at all, but I am saying that I have a right to love myself in the frame that I am in right now today. And I don't have to feel bad about that. I don't have to apologize for that. I don't have to justify my love of myself to anybody else. Like, I just get to shift the way that I feel about myself. And so shifting that verbiage really did make a huge difference for me. And it dramatically changed the way that I felt about it. And that word generous really began to resonate at a deep level for me. So not only am I a woman of generous proportion, but I'm just a woman of generous spirit as well. And so I began to see how that theme of generosity played out in my character and in my nature. And I began to embrace that and see that as a beautiful thing and be able to love all of that about myself. And so it literally changed it. So again, my focus changed and therefore my perception changed. And so it is one of the most impactful mechanisms, in my opinion. Anyone who talks to me pretty will hear me talk about the affirmations, which again, these can be used, you can reword some of these as affirmations, even if you want to, just to begin to really retrain the way that you see things. Aw, thank you, Annette. I know I'm seeing some comments go by and I can't read that fast. Exactly, Elisa. It definitely makes you feel more loved. Yes, exactly. And again, I try to be careful with the words that I use because I also don't want to pick words that in being pro me have an anti someone else. That's one of the things that I found with the body positive movement. It's a really fine line because as, a generously proportioned woman, I'm part of a group that has been bullied and picked on a lot. Okay. So it's easy to, as I step into the power of loving myself in my frame, it's easy to fall into the trap of being anti people who don't look like me. And you see that a lot of times people equate body positive to this is perfect and beautiful and nothing else is. And it's like, no, 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 no. The point is that each of us is beautiful in our frame. I met a woman at a church that we used to go to, who it didn't matter what she did, she couldn't put on weight. And so she was, maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, but it did not matter what she did. She couldn't gain weight to save her life. And to her, that felt as deeply wounding, because she struggled with feeling womanly because she, had a very, very lean frame and not a lot of curves. And so to her, it was very hurtful when body positive people were like, I have all my curves and da 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 da. And so it's understanding, that there is room for all of us in all of our shapes and sizes, in all of our shades and beautiful glory. For each one of us is beautiful, and we may not be each person's favorite flavor, but that doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, the radiance of our countenance is going to speak more about us and who we are as a person than the physical frame that we are reflecting, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm so glad this is resonating for some of you guys. I had no clue this is where we were going today. So anyway, I'm just going to read the card again since there's a few more people on here. I just want to make sure that everybody heard this because I just love the message on this. So this is the focus card, and this is part of deck 1, incidentally. By the way, you know which deck it is because down in this corner, if it's blank, it's deck 1. If it is deck 2, let's see if you can actually see it through the sealed package. No, you can't. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these don't have the numbers. Nope, the third deck does. Why does the second one not have the numbers? Well, apparently I did not say that correctly. Oops. Well, it's supposed to have a number down here. Deck 3 does, but apparently my deck 2 isn't indicated. So this is either deck 1 or deck 2. Sorry. Anyway, focus. What you focus on, you make room for. Resist the urge to allow distractions or perceived mistakes or failures to draw your focus. For telling yourself not to focus on something is simply a form of negative attention, which is still attention, i.e. your focus. So choose to focus on that which you want to see increase and channel your energy into stirring up your belief that it is attainable. All right, hang on. I am scrolling back up because I see another comment. It's a long one. Hang on. I'm trying to click the see more button, and of course oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, what did it just do? Goodness. I don't even understand what, okay, there we go. My screen just completely freaked out. Yeah, Dorinda, trust me. Oh my gosh, I so understand. I know. And again, this is where, that actually makes me think of another blog post that I had written that I was just talking about with another friend this week called Careless was the name of the blog post. And it was just talking about, because in scripture, it even talks about not being like, you're stupid, oh, I'm kidding, or something like that. It's literally talking about not speaking disingenuous words over each other. And I'm not saying don't have a sense of humor, okay? But I'm just saying be careful, even with the teasing, even if it's self-deprecating, even if it's about somebody else, those words carry power. Life and death is in the tongue. So again, be intentional with the words that you're speaking. Your subconscious doesn't understand when you're joking. When you're speaking that, it matters, okay? So be gentle with yourself. Take a moment. I know it's going to feel really weird, but I strongly encourage you to do it. Go look in the mirror and say, I love you. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are a compassionate, wonderful person. Whatever it is that you need to speak. I trust myself. That's a hard one. It's so funny how many people are beautiful, godly people who are always seeking to align with the Lord, and yet they don't trust trust themselves because of things that have happened in their past. I know, because this is something that I struggled with. And so, learning to trust ourselves, which some of it is just speak that over yourself. I trust myself. I trust myself. I'm a person of integrity. Like, declare those truths over ourselves. But anyway, that's all I'm going to share today. It's nice having everybody in here. I am sending big hugs to all of you, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will post links to the 2 blog posts that I mentioned in the comments. I will also post the link to where you can purchase the decks if you would like to. And if you have any questions or prayer requests, you are always able to share those with us at any time. And I am sending much love to all of you. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Blessings to you guys. Take care.